Hello, folks. My name is Sudhansh, and I have been around in the digital marketing world for more than 16 years. And as I promised, we will be going through AI, but for marketeers. We will be debunking and demystifying all the complex theories in very simple terms, which marketeers can easily implement into their day to day business and their life. So this is the first video that we are doing after my intro on why I am doing this. This video, we are starting from the basics. And the basics for our purpose, which helps, is the difference between LLM, the prompting that we are used to, and the agents, how the automation works, what's the difference, and what you can do or cannot do with those. So before we start, I just want to share something which I have been frustrated about, which is that we think that if we just give some generic prompts to a chat interface, which is a LLM chat interface, like OpenAI's ChatGPT or Google's Gemini or Perplexity, that can help us with marketing. So the thing is that what we are doing here is just basic prompting, right? We give a text in and we get a text out. And most of us, our idea of AI for marketing stops here, because we think that we can get some unique ideas or some unique insights or inputs from basic prompting to ChatGPT, which is not true. And don't get me wrong, because it has its benefit. It's good for certain things, but it's not good for everything. For example, it's always good for, say, brainstorming. It's always good for writing captions for a social media post, for example, or drafting emails. Not sending emails, but drafting, so that you can have your final input. Human should always be a part of any AI process, at least at this point of time. And then finally, refining content. You have some unique idea, you have come up with something after brainstorming, and you have put together your thoughts, and AI can be great for refining those content pieces, like for example blogs, newsletters, or anything else. But what it is not great for is doing things, taking actions. It can give you a lot of text, so text in, text out, which is one-way street. So it cannot do things for you, it cannot take actions on your behalf. So that's where we are going towards the difference between basic prompting and the agentic work that we are going to do. And finally, the most important one, which I personally feel is very important, is coming up with original ideas. It cannot do that. And there is logic behind it. There is a reason why I am saying that. AI is math. It's not magic. What it means is that AI learns on a data set which has been fed to it. And if it's an existing data set, that means it is learning on something which has already happened. So if it's learning on something which has already happened, there is a great chance it cannot come up with original ideas, because it will give you something which already exists, churn it, rework it, and you will think that maybe it's something unique because you never heard about it. So probably stay away from asking LLMs to generate original ideas. Even if you do all of these things, you still need to copy paste everything, whatever it produces, the content, into the tools of your choice, be it your CRM system or an emailer system or anything like that. So I hope it's clear that LLMs, or the basic prompting, is good for text in, text out, but it's not good for doing things for you. I'm going to tell you a very cool thing today, which is we are going to learn something from the traditional way product used to be developed, the SaaS products or any app or the web used to be developed, and how we can learn from that and apply the same system or the same thought process into agent development, the automation development. And if you are from tech background, or if you have ever done anything around product development, you must have come across CRUD, CRUD, which basically stands for create, read, update, and delete. So what's the meaning of CRUD? And it's very important in any web or app architecture. So what happens is that there is a front end, which is the interface that you talk to, the interface that you use to take actions. Like for example, airlines ticket booking website, hotel booking website, or any app that you use, even Facebook, for example, right? Or Instagram or TikTok, whatever you use, you have a front end which you can access. But all the data is stored in the back end, in servers. So there has to be some way that you can access the server at the back and then relay that information on the front. That's where this whole architecture of front end and back end, it relies heavily on CRUD operations, which is where the system should be able to create something in the database, read something from the database, update something which is something pre-existing in the database, and also should be able to delete items or elements or the whole database altogether. So this is the CRUD system, which has been in use since forever, ever since we came up with front end and a back end system. And these two systems, like a database and the app or the web that you see, it's connected via APIs, applications programming interface, right? So this API, now if I give you a very simple example of API, it's like you are going to a restaurant and you want to order something, right? And you have the menu in your hand. So that's the interface, that's the front end. You read through everything, but you cannot talk to the chef directly. You need a waiter or a server to come and help you, take the order from you and relay it to or pass it on to the chef or the cook in the kitchen. That waiter or the server is the API, and that's exactly what happens here. You have some middle person in between who is communicating between the front end and the back end, right? So if the front end says, or the interface says, I want to add one more entry, I want to create a new user profile, then that's the create operation, which server is telling the back end, or the waiter is telling the cook that, yeah, can you create something? I hope it's clear because it's very simple. And to further help you out, I pre-filled a regular, what you can say is a grid, because an Excel, Google Sheets, you are marketeers, you must have seen those. That's the very basic example of a database, because it's also collecting data into cells and items. You have different attributes, different rows and columns and everything, right? So that's exactly the example that we are using here. So it should, the system should be able to create a record. It should be able to enter that Sam Powell, 36 years of age. If it can create this entry, done, very good. If it can read that Tom Cruise is 42 years old, it can read and tell you that Tom Cruise is 42 years old. Similarly, if it can update a record that Bridget Jones is not 35, she is 38. This is also one of the tasks of CRUD architecture. And then finally, it should be able to delete an item, a record as well. That if I don't want Ben Affleck here, I should be able to just delete it. So if your system is able to do all or some, or at least 3 of these tasks, it can complete these 3 of the operations, at least 3 of these operations, that means you have a proper system in place. And that's exactly the logic, and that is my personal definition when it comes to the definition or differentiation between LLMs, basic prompting, and agentic automations, is that agentic automation or an AI workflow should be able to perform at least 3 of these tasks, 3 of the 4 tasks that we have here, which is create, read, update, or delete. So if your workflow can do at least 3 of these, well, you have an AI agent at hand. So that was more about just to give you an idea about how CRUD used to work. But in marketeers' definition, the CRUD could be used to create content, like create some new social media posts and post it directly. It's not just creating, because ChatGPT can do that as well, but it should be able to post it directly either on the tool that you use, the scheduler, or the platform itself. It should be able to read, say, for example, performance from analytics and give you insights and inputs. It should be able to update the lead scores in your CRM system or revise an ad copy in the platform. These are just some of the examples. That is not all, but just to give you an idea. Similarly, it should be able to delete, for example, old product info from the website, or remove dead email segments, example, people who have unsubscribed or do not respond to you, they have not responded to you for since ages. So for marketeer, these are the CRUD operations that you can think of, which AI agent or the agentic workflow can execute for you. So we are keeping it very simple. In this short video, I just wanted to give you an idea about what's the difference between LLM and an AI workflow or agentic model. Now you can confidently tell your colleagues, your co-workers, and your friends that you know what it is about. So we went through the difference between LLMs and AI agents, what LLMs are good for, what they're not good for, and similarly, what's the CRUD in SaaS architecture. Similarly, we also discussed a little bit about how you can apply the CRUD operation system, the architecture, in your marketing workflows as well. So this was a very quick one on just to help you understand the difference between LLMs, the things most people have been doing and think that it's AI marketing, and building your own AI-driven agentic workflow, AI automation. And in the next video, after this one, we will touch a little bit on the APIs, because I mentioned that earlier. We will dig a bit deeper, not going to build anything like that. We are not going to learn coding, but to understand how APIs work. Also the tokens, and how do we use tokens, and do we understand the context window, for example, what is the model that we should be using for our AI agent. So that those things we will cover in the next video. So the next 2-3 videos will be all about these basic things without rushing into building our own agent. So I hope you got all the clarity that you are looking for, and if not, you can just leave a comment and I will respond to all of them. Also, if you like it, then please subscribe, because it helps me understand that how many people are actually liking it, what kind of videos that I should be producing more often. And also, if you leave a comment, I will know that if there is anything that I can work on, that I can improve upon, or if there is any problem that you are trying to solve, and if I can help you with that. So yeah, see you in our next video. Cheers.